Why does getting dressed still feel like something you cannot crack? In this video, I'm showing you the 9 reasons why this is happening and how to fix it for good, so you can finally open your wardrobe every morning and love what you see. And by the time we get to reason number 3, the way you think about your wardrobe will never be the same. Reason number 1 is that it's not your clothes. The reason none of the fixes have worked is because you have been solving an entirely wrong problem. The feeling that you feel every morning is called style confusion, and it affects almost every successful woman I've ever worked with as a personal stylist. Not because they lack taste, but because nobody ever gave them the framework to translate who they are on the inside into what they wear. Research consistently shows that the average woman wears only 20% of her wardrobe 80% of the time. I see this with every single client I work with. Women come to me frustrated, convinced that if they could just find the right pieces, everything would click. But when I open their wardrobes, the problem is never the shortage of clothes. It is actually the shortage of clarity. Personal style is not a shopping problem. It is a self-knowledge problem. And until you address what is happening on the inside, who you are, how do you want to feel, what you actually need your wardrobe to do for you right now, no amount of shopping will fix it. Every client I've ever worked with who has tried to buy their way out of this frustration has ended up exactly in the same place 6 months later, standing in front of a fuller closet, feeling exactly the same way. So here's the fix. Before you buy a single thing, before you even open your wardrobe, sit down and answer these 4 questions. Number 1, what is my style identity? What it is that I like? Number 2, what are my best physical features? And how do I dress them to emphasize it? Number 3, what is my color strategy? How do I use color in my wardrobe for a cohesive wardrobe and look? And number 4, what does my wardrobe actually need to do for my life right now? So write down these answers. These 4 questions are the foundation of everything we're going to talk about today. And I want you to keep them in mind as we go through every single reason on this list, because by the time we get to reason number 9, you're going to see exactly how they all connect. But even before you can answer those questions, there's a very specific trap that almost every woman I've ever worked with has fallen into. And it is silently filling your closet with things you'll never wear. Reason number 2, the fantasy self. One of the first things that I do with every new client is ask them to try on everything in their wardrobe while we work through it together. And without fail, there are always pieces, sometimes dozens of them, that have never been worn. When I ask why they bought them, the answer is almost always some version of, I thought I'd wear it too, or I bought it for a version of my life that hasn't happened yet. That is the fantasy self at work, and she is expensive. The fantasy self is the idealized version of who you want to be. The woman who goes to glamorous events every weekend. The woman who travels constantly. The woman who lives a life that looks nothing like your actual calendar. And she's been doing all the shopping for you. A 2014 study published by the Journal of Consumer Psychology found that people consistently overestimate how much they will use a purchase, a phenomenon called the optimism bias. We buy for who we hope to be, not who we are. So I worked with this one client, a successful woman who had recently been promoted to a senior role. She had an entire section of her wardrobe dedicated to casual weekend pieces. Beautiful, expensive pieces, but she was working most weekends now, and her actual free time looked like nothing like the lifestyle those clothes were bought for. So we pulled everything out and we held each piece up and asked one simple question. Does this reflect my actual lifestyle right now? If the answer was no, it went. And this goes deeper than lifestyle, actually. It's also about identity. Buying the edgy leather jacket because you want to be seen cool, or buying the power suit because you think you should look a certain way in your new role, even though your actual style is soft and feminine. You're not dressing for who you are. You're dressing for who you think you should be. So here's the fix. Open your wardrobe right now, pause this video, and pull out every item you have not worn in the last 6 months. Hold each one up and ask, does this reflect my actual life, my actual week, my actual self? And if the answer is no, this piece does not belong there. Be honest, the fantasy self is not coming to save you, but the real you, with the right wardrobe, absolutely will. Now, even if you cleared out everything that belongs to your fantasy self, most women would still be left with a closet full of things that don't work together. And that is because reason number 3, the one that makes everything else fall apart. You don't know your style. This is the one I promised you at the start, and I want you to pay real close attention here, because this is the reason that sits underneath almost everything else on the list. Most women think they know what they like, but when I sit down with a new client, whether she's a senior executive, an artist, or a business owner, I ask her why she likes a certain style or outfit. The room goes quiet. every single time. Fashion psychologist Dr. Carolyn Mayer, in her book The Psychology of Fashion, writes that clothing choices are deeply tied to self-concept. And when that self-concept is unclear, decision-making becomes inconsistent and emotionally driven, which is exactly how you end up with a wardrobe full of things that don't work together and don't feel like you. So here's the fix. This is a variation of an exercise I use with every single one of my clients. So I invite you to go to Pinterest and think of a celebrity or an aesthetic you're genuinely drawn to. So it might be minimalist outfits or feminine style, whatever genuinely resonates with you. So search for 20 or 50 pins and create a Pinterest board. And pin images that only genuinely stop you mid-scroll. Then I want you to step back, and when you come back to look at the board, look at it as a whole and write down the patterns that keep showing up. The colors, the silhouettes, the level of structure or femininity. And then go deeper and ask yourself, what exactly is it about these images that you like and why? Really understand this in detail, because the more specific you can get, the more useful this becomes. And here's what makes this exercise really powerful. It works on two levels at once. It shows you what you're aesthetically drawn to, and it reveals how you want to feel when you get dressed. So ask yourself, how do I want to feel in my clothes at this season of my life? And how do these patterns and styles actually support that? For example, you might be drawn to a feminine style and really the softness of the fabrics, the effortless silhouettes, and the muted colors. And how you want to feel right now in your life is relaxed, effortless, and calm. You'll often find that these two correlate. When those two things align, the aesthetic and the feeling, this is where the magic happens. This is when getting dressed stops being a chore and starts feeling like an expression of who you truly are. But here's the thing. Even women who do this exercise and find their style identity still end up buying things they don't need. And that is because something that has been working against you without you even realizing it. Now, before we move on into reason 4, I want to give you something that I'm genuinely excited about and that makes everything we're about to cover effortless and actually easy to implement. I built a custom ChatGPT for women like you, busy, successful, and with no time to waste. You basically take a photo of a piece you already own in your wardrobe or something you're wanting to buy. You upload into ChatGPT, you answer a couple of questions, and within 30 seconds, it builds you complete outfits around this item, based on your style and based on your assets, everything we've just gone through together in this video. No more guessing, no more buying something, getting home, and realizing it works with absolutely nothing you own. You see the full outfit before you spend a single dollar. This is like having a personal stylist, me, in your pocket 24/7. The link to register for free is in the description below. Go get it now and then come back, because reason number 4 is where we start closing this gap between the woman on your Pinterest board and the woman standing in front of your mirror. So reason number 4 is the style gap. Here's what I hear constantly. I know exactly how I want to look like. I just don't know how to get there with what I have. And that gap between the woman on your Pinterest board and the woman standing in front of your mirror is one of the most frustrating places to live. And the mistake most women make is going straight shopping to close it. But if you don't understand why that gap exists, you'll just keep buying the wrong things and the gap will stay exactly where it is. So let me give you an example. I work with a client, Rebecca, who recently was promoted. When we went through her wardrobe together, it became clear immediately what the problem was. Her entire wardrobe was built for her previous identity as a tech executive. Her style, her confidence, her career had all evolved, but her wardrobe has not caught up. She needed to look like a senior investment banker, polished, authoritative, and feminine, but everything she owned was still speaking the language of her old life. So we did not go shopping first. We identified what already aligned with who she had become, and only then we built a very specific shopping list for what was genuinely missing. That order of operations changed everything for her. So here's the fix for you. After you've done your wardrobe edit, looked at what remains and compare it honestly to your Pinterest board and ask yourself, what is missing? What silhouettes do you not have? What colors are absent? What occasions are not covered? Write down a specific shopping list, not a wish list, but a genuine list of gaps, and then shop from that list. This is the difference between intentional shopping and impulse shopping. One closes the gap, the other one makes it worse. Now your wardrobe is edited, organized, and starting to align with who you actually are. But there's still one force working against you every single day that you probably haven't even noticed. And once I show this to you, you'll never be able to unsee it. Reason 5 is the chaos problem. This one sounds really simple, but I promise you it goes much deeper than organization. Research from Princeton University's Neuroscience Institute, published in the Journal of Neuroscience, found that physical clutter competes for your attention and increases cognitive load. In plain terms, a disorganized closet is literally making it harder for your brain to make good decisions. This is why so many women default to the same 3 outfits every single day. It is not that they do not have options. It is that the chaos of the wardrobe makes accessing these options feel overwhelming. So the brain takes the path of least resistance and reaches for what is familiar. Remember, everything we're working through today is building towards only one thing: opening your wardrobe every single morning and actually loving what you see. And this reason, as unglamorous as it sounds, is one of the most important steps in getting there. So here's the fix. I do all of my wardrobe edits with clients virtually, and we start with focusing only on one area of life at a time. So it might be work, dating, casual, or evening wear. Trying to do everything at once to edit your wardrobe is overwhelming and it never works. So pick one area and take everything out of the category and organize it by type. Tops together, bottoms together, dresses and accessories together. Then go through each item one by one, put it on and stand in front of the mirror and run it through the 4 questions we asked before. Does this make me feel the way I want to feel? Does it represent my style and what I like aesthetically? Does it flatter my body and emphasize my best parts? And does it work with my color strategy? If the item does not pass most of the criteria, it goes into the donation pile, no exceptions. And yes, when my clients go through this process, and you'll probably see this too, that it almost always happens that you look at what remains and you're like, I forgot I had this, or I actually have much more than I thought. But beyond that, this is the part I really want you to hear, is clearing your wardrobe based on this criteria brings massive clarity. Women tell me after every single wardrobe edit that they feel like they've released so much pressure and weight, not just from their closet, but from themselves. Now your wardrobe is edited and organized and starting to align with who you actually are. But there's still one force working against you every single day that you probably haven't even noticed. And once I show this to you, you'll never be able to unsee it. Reason number 6 is the algorithm trap. There's a well-known principle in marketing called the rule of 7. The idea first developed in the 1930s by Dr. Jeffrey Land and later expanded in modern consumer psychology research is that a person needs to be exposed to something approximately 7 times before they make a purchase decision. In the era of Instagram and TikTok and hyper advertising, that can happen before lunch. You see a pair of shoes on your favorite influencer, then on a Pinterest board, then on an ad, and then on a celebrity. And suddenly you're completely convinced that you definitely need those shoes, that they are your style, that they will complete your wardrobe. But they were never your choice. They were marketed to you until you caved. I see this result constantly. Clients who come to me with full wardrobes of micro-trend pieces, things that were popular 6 months ago but feel completely dated right now. Things that were bought not because they loved them, but because they've been conditioned to want them. And this is one of the most insidious reasons women end up hating their clothes, because the wardrobe they've built does not actually reflect them. It reflects the algorithm. So here's the fix. The next time you feel a strong pull towards something you've been seeing everywhere, pause. Go back to your Pinterest board. Ask yourself honestly, does this fit into the aesthetic that I identified? Does it align with how I want to feel? And does it work with what I already own? If the answer to any of these questions is no, you gotta walk away. Your style identity is your filter, and it's more important. And it is the most powerful tool you have against an industry that's designed to make you spend more. So now you have the internal clarity and the inner foundation. But there's a daily habit that keeps even the most self-aware, most organized women stuck every single morning. And it is something that feels like the right thing to do, but actually is working against you. Reason number 7 is the variety myth. A study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that having too many choices does not make us happier. It actually makes us more anxious and less satisfied with our decisions. This is the paradox of choice, and it plays out in wardrobes every single morning. When there is no formula, no system, no consistent approach, getting dressed becomes a daily creative exercise that most successful women simply do not have the time or the energy for. The most stylish women in the world understand this. They have a formula. For example, Layla Hormozi, Alex Hormozi's wife, is almost always in structured blazers, tailored trousers, and clean neutral tones. Strong silhouettes, strong shoulders, clean silhouettes. Her formula communicates authority without her saying a word. Victoria Beckham works most of the time in tailored pieces, neutral colors, and sleek, minimalist silhouettes. And she has been wearing versions of that same formula for over a decade. What these women share is not a wardrobe full of variety. It is a consistent approach, a signature silhouette, a color palette, a level of polish, executed repeatedly in small variations. So here's a fix for you. Go back to your Pinterest board and then look at your actual schedule. What you need to do is identify 3 to 5 life categories that you spend your most time on, similar to what we did in reason number 2 when we talked about not dressing for your fantasy self, but for your actual self and how you live your life. And think about the outfit formulas you will need to wear for each category. For example, you might want to wear a blazer, a tailored trouser, and a top, plus accessories to work, and a more casual variation of this on the weekends. So identify your formulas for every context, then build 3 to 5 versions of that formula in your wardrobe. Same approach, but different execution. You need to stop experimenting for the sake of it and start refining what already works. My clients who have a formula spend 2 minutes getting dressed in the morning. So do I. Not because they have less to choose from, but because they have a system. Now, once you have that formula, there's one more thing that takes an outfit from put together to genuinely personal. And this is the detail that most women completely miss. So reason number 8, I called the missing element. So there is a difference between being dressed and having style. And it almost always comes down to one thing: the unexpected element. The piece that does not follow the obvious logic of an outfit, but makes the whole thing intentional, personal, and completely your own. Fashion insiders call this the wrong shoe theory, a concept popularized by stylist Alison Bornstein. The idea that one deliberate, unexpected element elevates an outfit from predictable to memorable. And I see the need for this constantly with clients who've done all the right things. They've done their style, they have their formula, their wardrobe is edited and organized, but somehow their outfits still feel flat. And it is almost always because everything's just a bit too safe, a bit too matchy or too expected. So here's what that looks like in practice. A tailored suit with a chunky white sneaker instead of a heel, suddenly modern and confident rather than corporate. A minimal all-neutral outfit with one oversized earrings that does all the work. A relaxed linen set with a structured top-handle bag in a contrasting color that instantly elevates the entire look. Or even just a classic white shirt and a straight leg jean, but with an unexpected bold red lip or a vintage scarf tied to the bag. The fix is almost always small, but that one unexpected element is where your personality finally shows up in your clothes. And that is what people remember. So here's your fix. Look at your go-to outfit, the one you wear and repeat, and ask yourself, what is the one element that I could add or swap that does not obviously belong? Try a different shoe, add one bold accessory, layer something on top that's unexpected. You don't need a new wardrobe, you just need an element that is slightly off script. So play with it. That is where your personal style lives. And now we've arrived at the final reason, and I have kept it for last deliberately because this one thing changes everything. Not just how you dress, but how you think about style for the rest of your life. So reason number 9 is knowing that style is a skill. One of the most damaging beliefs I encounter in my work is the idea that some women are just naturally stylish and others are not. I've worked with dozens of women across different industries, career stages, and life situations, and I can tell you with complete confidence that is simply not true. What looks effortless is almost always the result of repetition, not talent. Neurologist Dr. Lara Boyd, in her research on neuroplasticity at the University of British Columbia, found that the brain physically changes in response to repeated behavior, building stronger and more efficient neural pathways the more a skill is practiced. Getting dressed with intention is not different. The first few weeks of building a new style system feel effortful, but over time with repetition, it actually becomes second nature. You're a woman who's built a career, business, a life through skill, through practice, through showing up consistently, even when it was hard. Style is no different. It is not a gift you're born with. It is a skill that you build. And you already know how to build skills. You've been doing this your entire life. So here's the fix. I invite you to commit to 1 week of getting dressed intentionally every single morning, using your formula, referencing your Pinterest board, running your choices through your 4 questions, taking a photo of each outfit. By the end of the week, you'll know your wardrobe better than you have ever had. You will start to see your style emerging, not as something you have to think about, but as something that is simply becoming part of who you are. That is the moment when everything changes, and it is closer than you think. Working on these 9 reasons is what will get you to a place where you open your wardrobe every morning and you love what you see. And if you want to take your wardrobe to the next level and learn about the hidden psychology behind how successful women dress, I recommend watching this next video.